Okay. All right. So tonight we'll go ahead and read Ruth and I think most of First Samuel. Let's go ahead and make sure we're set up. Okay. All right. And I pre-read a little bit of this. Learned a couple new words. So let's go. The Book of Ruth, Chapter 1. It fortuned that in the days of a certain judge, when the judges judged there fell a dearth in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went for to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife, and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, the name of his wife Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, and they were Ephrahites, out of Bethlehem, Judah. And when they came into the land of Moab, they continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and there she remained with her 2 sons, which took them wives of the nations of the Moabites. The one's name was Orpah, and the other's Ruth, and they dwelled there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, even both of them, and the woman was left desolate of her 2 sons and of her husband. Then stood she up with her daughters-in-law and returned from the country of Moab, for she had she had heard say in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people, and given them bread. Wherefore she departed out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters with her, and they went on their way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go and return each of you unto your mother's house, and the Lord deal as kindly with you as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. And the Lord give you that ye may find rest, either of you, in the house of her husband. And when she kissed them, they lifted up their voice and wept, and said unto her, We will go with thee unto thy folk. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters, for what cause will ye go with me? Are there any more children in my womb to be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters, and go, for I am too old to have an husband. And if I said, I have hope, if I took a man also this night, yea, and though I had already borne sons, would ye tarry after them till they were of age? Or would ye for them so long refrain from taking of husbands? Not so, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth abode still by her. And Naomi said, See, thy sister-in-law is gone back again unto her people and unto her goods. Return thou after her. And Ruth answered, Entreat me not to leave thee, and to return from after thee, for whither thou goest I will go also, and where thou dwellest, there I will dwell. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, there will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so, and so to me. If aught but death only depart thee and me asunder, or part thee and me asunder. In the King James, this phrasing, the Lord do so, the Lord do so, and more. The Lord do so to me and more, if aught. But in the Great Bible we see the Lord do so and so. Okay. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, she left speaking unto her. And so they went both until they came to Bethlehem. And when they were come to Bethlehem, it was noised of them through all the city. And the women said, Is not this Naomi? And she answered them, Call me not Naomi, that is to say beautiful, but call me Mara, that is to say bitter. For the Almighty hath made me very bitter. I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath humbled me, and the Almighty hath brought me unto adversity? And so Naomi with Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, returned out of the country of Moab, and came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest. 2. And Naomi's husband had a kinsman of strength and might, which was of the kindred of Elimelech, named Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, Let me go to the field and gather ears of corn, such as the reapers leave, after any man in whose sight I find grace. And she said unto her, Go, my daughter. And she went and came to the field and gathered after the reapers. And her chance was that the same field pertained unto Boaz, which was of the kindred of Elimelech. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem, and said unto the reapers, The Lord be with you. And they answered him, The Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto his young man that stood by the reapers, Whose damsel is this? And the young man that stood by the reapers answered and said, It is the Moabitish damsel that came with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said unto us, O let me lease and gather. Let me lease and gather after the reapers the ears that remain. And so she came, and hath continued even from the morning until now, save that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, Hearest thou, my daughter? Hearest thou, my daughter? Okay. Go to no other field to gather, neither go from hence, but abide here by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field, that they may reap, and go thou after the maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field, that they may reap. Have I not charged the young men that they shall do thee no hurt? Moreover, when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels and drink of that which the lads have drawn. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground, and said unto him, How is it that I have found grace in thine eyes, and that thou shouldest know me, seeing I am an alien? And Boaz answered and said unto her, All is told and showed me that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, how thou hast left thy father and thy mother, and the land where thou wast born, and art come unto a nation which thou knewest not in time past. The Lord quit thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to abide. Then she said, Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, thou that hast comforted me. Okay. And spoken heartily unto thy maid, which yet am not like unto one of thy maidens. Boaz said unto her again, In time of refection, or mealtime, Come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy sop in the vinegar. And she sat down by the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, of the which she did eat, and was sufficed, and left part. When she was risen up to gather, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, Let her gather even among the heaps, and forbid her not, and leave her some of the sheaves for the nonce, or for the purpose, or for the occasion, and let it lie, that she may gather it up without shame, and rebuke her not. And so she gathered in the field until even, and threshed that she had gathered, and it was in measure upon an ephah, that is 3 bushels of barley. And she took it up and went into the city, and when her mother-in-law had seen what she had gathered, she plucked out also, and gave to her that she had reserved, when she had eaten enough. And her mother-in-law said unto her, Where hast thou gathered today, and where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that knew thee. And she showed her mother-in-law how she had wrought with him, and said, The man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, Blessed be he of the Lord, for he ceaseth not to do good to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, The man is nigh unto us, and of our next kin. And Ruth the Moabite said, He said unto me also, Thou shalt be with my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi answered unto Ruth her daughter-in-law, It is best, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they fall not upon thee in any other field. And so she kept her by the maidens of Boaz to gather unto the end of barley harvest, and of wheat harvest also, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. 3. Then Naomi her mother-in-law said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that thou mayest prosper? And is not Boaz our kinsman, with whose maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the barn. But let not a man know of thee, until he have left eating and drinking. And when he goeth to sleep, mark the place where he layeth him down, and then go and lift up the clothes that are on his feet, or cloths, and lay thee down there, and so shall he tell thee what thou shalt do. And she answered her, All that thou biddest me I will do. And so she went down unto the barn, and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunken, and made him merry, and was gone in to lie down beside the heap of corn, she came softly, and lifted up his clothes or cloths off his feet, and laid her down. And at midnight the man was afraid, and groped about, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, What art thou? She answered, I am Ruth thine handmaid. Um, thine hand, I am Ruth thine handmaid. Spread thy wing over thine handmaid, for thou art the next of the kin. He said, Blessed be thou in the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more goodness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followedst not young men, whether they were poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou requirest, for all the city of my people doth know that thou art a woman of virtue. And it is true that I am of thy next kin, howbeit there is one nigher than I. Tarry this night, and when morning is come, if he will marry thee, it is good, so let him do. But and if he will not have thee, as sure as the Lord liveth, I will have thee. Lie still until the morning. And so she lay at his feet until the morning, and she arose up before one could know another. And he said, Let no man know that there came any woman into the barn. And he said again, Bring the mantle that thou hast upon thee, and hold it up. And when she held it up, he meted in 6 measures of barley, and laid it on her. And she gat her into the city. And when she came in to her mother-in-law, and she said, How is it with thee, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her, and said also, These 6 measures of barley gave he me, and said, Thou shalt not come empty unto thy mother-in-law. Then said she, My daughter, sit still until thou know how the matter will chance, for the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing the same day. 4. Then went Boaz unto the gate, and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of which Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Come and sit down here, and called him by his name. And he turned in and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city, and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, will sell a parcel of land which was our brother Elimelech's. Okay, a little odd spelling there. Should be an L rather than an M. Elimelech. And I thought to do thee to wit, and bid thee buy it before the inhabitants and elders of my people. If thou be disposed to redeem it, do. But and if thou wilt not purchase it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is none to challenge it, save thou, and I next to thee. And the other answered, I will purchase it. Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must take also Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the dead, to stir up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. The kinsman answered, I cannot purchase it for marrying of mine own inheritance, for the cause of marrying mine own inheritance. Take thou my right to thee, for I cannot purchase it. Now this was the manner of old time in Israel concerning purchase and changing, or exchanging, for to establish all things, that a man must pluck off his shoe and give it his neighbor, and this was a sure witness in Israel. Therefore the kinsman said to Boaz, Buy it thou, buy it thou. Okay, and so drew off his shoe. Buy thou it is, I think, how it probably more straightforward way of phrasing that. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, Ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's. And all that was Kilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. And moreover, Ruth the Moabite, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to stir up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, and that this name be not put out from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, We are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and Leah, which twain did build the house of Israel. Do thou also valiantly in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem. Thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, even of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. And so Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave that she conceived, and bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, that which hath blessed be the Lord, that which hath not left thee without a kinsman, to have a name in Israel, and that shall bring thy life again, and cherish thine old age. Oh, this is not referring to God. I think this is referring to Boaz. That Lord which hath not left thee without a kinsman. Maybe. That is an odd pronoun here for God, if this is the case. But it could be. In two spots here. For thy daughter-in-law which loveth thee hath borne unto him. Okay. Yeah, okay. It is referring to Boaz. For thy daughter-in-law which loveth thee hath borne unto him. Him being Boaz. So it makes sense that this is Boaz here. And she is better to thee than 7 sons. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her lap, and became nurse unto it. And her neighbors gave it a name, saying, There is a child born to Naomi, and called it Obed. The same is the father of Jesse, the father of David. These are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begat Hezron, Hezron begat Ram, Ram begat Aminadab, Aminadab begat Nahshon, Nahshon begat Salmon, Salmon begat Boaz, Boaz begat Obed, Obed begat Jesse, Jesse begat David. The end of the book of Ruth. The first book of Samuel, called also the first book of Kings. But not at present, not in the present time. Is this going to load here? Would be nice. It's not even. Okay. First Samuel, chapter 1. There was a man of one of the 2 Ramaths, Ramathaim, of the kindred of Zophim of Mount Ephraim, named Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite, which had 2 wives, the one called Hannah, and the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. And the said man went up out of his city every feastful day to pray, and to offer unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh, where were the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the Lord's priests. And it fell on a solemn day that Elkanah offered, and gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a portion with a heavy cheer, for he loved Hannah. Hold on a minute. Okay. And the Lord had made her barren, and her enemy Peninnah vexed her sore continually to move her, because the Lord had made her barren. And so did she year by year, as oft as she went up to the house of the Lord, and so chafed her, which wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou, and why eatest thou not? And why is thine heart troubled? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after that they had eaten and drunk in Shiloh, and Eli the priest sat upon a stool by one of the side posts of the temple of the Lord. And she was troubled in her mind, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore, and vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt look on the trouble of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but give unto thine handmaid a man-child, I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And as she continued praying before the Lord, it fortuned that Eli marked her mouth. For Hannah spake in her heart, and her lips did but move only, but her voice was not heard. And therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away from thee the wine that thou hast. Hannah answered and said, Not so, my lord. I am a woman of a sorrowful heart. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid to be like a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my heaviness and grief have I spoken hitherto. Eli answered her again and said, Go in peace. Or Eli returned answer, Go in peace, the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. She said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. And so the woman went her way, and did eat, and looked no more so sad. And they rose up early, and worshipped before the Lord, and then returned, and came to their house to Ramoth. And when Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, the Lord remembered her. For in process of time it came to pass that she conceived and bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. And Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the offering due for the feast, and also his vow. Nevertheless Hannah went not up, but said unto her husband, I will tarry until the lad be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide forever. Elkanah her husband answered her, Do what seemeth thee best. Tarry at home until thou hast weaned him, and I beseech the Lord to make good his saying. The Lord's saying. And so the woman abode, and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him with her, with 3 bullocks, and an ephah of flour, and a bottle of wine, and brought him into the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was yet but tender of age. And they slew a bullock, and brought in the lad to Eli. And she said, O my lord, as truly as thy soul liveth, my lord, I am the woman that stood before thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this lad I prayed. Oh, yeah, for this lad I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my desire which I asked of him, and therefore I have given him unto the Lord, as long as he is meet for the Lord. And they worshipped the Lord there. Okay. 2. And Hannah prayed and said, Mine heart rejoiceth in the Lord, and mine horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is wide open over mine enemies, for I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none so holy as the Lord, for without thee is nothing, neither is there any of strength as is our God. Talk not too much proudly. Let old things depart out of your mouths, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and his purposes come to pass. The vow, oh no, the bow with the mighty men are broken, and they that were weak have girded themselves with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry cease so to be, till the barren hath borne 7, and she that had many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive, bringeth down to the grave, and fetcheth up again. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich, bringeth low and heaveth up on high. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set him among princes, and to inherit them with the seat of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the round world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall keep silence in darkness, and in his own might shall no man be strong. In a man's own might shall none be strong. The Lord's adversaries shall be destroyed of him, and out of heaven shall he thunder upon every one of them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the world, and shall give might unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. And Elkanah went to Ramoth to his house, and the lad did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. But the sons of Eli were children of Belial, and knew not the Lord, and the priests made a law for the people, that whensoever any man offered any offering, the priest's lad came while that flesh was a seething, or while the flesh was a seething, and a flesh hook with 3 teeth in his hands, and thrust it into the pan, kettle, cauldron, or pot. And all that the flesh hook brought up, that the priest took away. And so they did unto all the Israelites that came thither to Shiloh. Yea, and thereto, or on top of that, before they burnt the fat, the priest's lad came and said to the man that offered, Give flesh, that I may dress it for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. And if any man said unto him, Let them burn the fat according to the day, and then take as much as thine heart desireth, the lad would answer him, Yea, thou shalt give it me now, and if thou wilt not, I will take it with violence. And the sin of the young man was very great before the Lord. Okay. For men abhorred the offering of the Lord because of them. But the child Samuel ministered before the Lord, girded about with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat, and brought it to him from year to year, when she came up with her husband to offer the offering in the solemn feasts. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife, and said, The Lord give thee seed of this woman, for the petition that she asked of the Lord. And they went unto their own home. And the Lord visited Hannah, so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord. Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that waited at the door of the tabernacle of witness. And he said unto them, Why do ye such things? For of all these people I hear evil reports of you. O nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear, how that ye make the Lord's people to trespass. If one man sin against another, daysmen may be judges. But if a man sin against the Lord, who will be his daysman? Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto the voice of their father, because the Lord would slay them. The child Samuel profited and grew, and was in favor both with the Lord and also with men. And there came a man of God unto Eli, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Did not I appear unto the house of thy father when they were in Egypt, subject unto Pharaoh's house? And I chose thy father out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon mine altar, and to burn incense, and to wear an ephod before me. And I gave unto the house of thy father all the burnt offerings of the children of Israel. Wherefore tread ye down my sacrifice and mine offering, which I commanded to be made in the tabernacle, and honorest thy children above me, to make yourselves fat of the first fruits of all the offerings of Israel my people. Wherefore the Lord God of Israel saith, I said that thy house and the house of thy father should walk before me forever. But now the Lord saith, That be far from me. For them that worship me I will worship, or praise, or appraise. And they that despise me shall come to shame. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm, and the arm of thy father's house, that there shall not be an elder in thine house. There shall not be an elder in thine house. I think there's a word missing, maybe. And thou shalt see thine enemy in the tabernacle of the Lord, and in all the wealth which God shall give Israel, and there shall not be an eldest in thine house forever. Nevertheless, I will not destroy all the males that come of thee from mine altar, but to make thine eyes daze, or amazed, and to make thine heart melt. And all they that be multiplied in thine house shall die, if they be men. And this shall be a sign unto thee that shall come upon thy 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Even in one day they shall die both. And I will stir me up a faithful priest, that shall do according to my heart and mind, and I will build him a sure house. And he shall walk before mine anointed forever. And they that are left in thine house shall come and crouch to him for a little piece of silver and a cake of bread, and shall say, Put me, I pray thee, in one office or other among the priests, that I may eat a morsel of bread. 3. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days, neither was there any open vision. And it chanced at that time that Eli lay in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And ere the lamp of God went out, Samuel laid him down to sleep in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. And the Lord called Samuel. And he said, Here I am. And he ran unto Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou calledst me. And he said, I called thee not. Go again and sleep. And he went and laid him down to sleep. And the Lord called once again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli, and said, I am here, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called thee not, my son. Go again and take thy rest. Samuel knew not yet the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet opened unto him. And the Lord went to and called Samuel the third time. And he arose and went to Eli, and said, I am here, for thou hast called me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go and lie down, and if he call thee again, then say, Speak on, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and laid him down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as before, Samuel, Samuel. Samuel answered, Speak on, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, that both the ears of as many as heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will raise up against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house, from the beginning to the ending. I have told him that I will judge his house forever, for the wickedness which he knoweth. For when the people cursed his sons for the same wickedness, he hath not corrected them. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the wickedness of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. Samuel lay till the morning, and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel, and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here I am. He said, What is it that the Lord hath said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so and so to thee, if thou hide anything from me of all that he said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord, let him do what seemeth him best. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and left none of his words unperformed. And all Israel from Dan to Beersheba wist that faithful Samuel was made the Lord's prophet. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord opened himself to Samuel in Shiloh through the word of the Lord. 4. And Samuel spake unto all Israel. And it fortuned that in those days the Philistines came together to fight. And Israel went out against the Philistines to battle, and pitched beside the helpstone. And the Philistines pitched in Aphek, and put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined the battle, Israel was put to the worse before the Philistines. And the Philistines slew in array along by the fields about 4,000 men. And when the people were come into their tents, the elders of Israel said, Wherefore hath the Lord cast us down this day before the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of the appointment of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemy. And so the people sent to Shiloh, and fetched from thence the ark of the appointment of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubims. And there were the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, with the ark of the appointment of God. And it fortuned that when the ark of the appointment of the Lord came into the host, all Israel shouted a mighty shout, so that the earth rang again, or echoed. The earth rang back. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What meaneth the sound of this mighty shout in the host of the Hebrews? And they understood how that the ark of the Lord was come into the host. And the Philistines were afraid, and said, God is come into the host. And they said again, Woe unto us, for it was never so before this. Woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with so many plagues in the wilderness. Be strong, and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be no servants unto the Hebrews, and that they, as they have been to you. Be of a manly courage, therefore, and fight. I wonder if this is a little bit sarcastic. Woe unto us. Woe, who shall deliver us? It almost sounds sarcastic to me. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was put to the worse, and fled every man into his tent. And there was an exceeding great slaughter, for there were overthrown of Israel 30,000 footmen. And the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were dead. And there ran a man of Benjamin out of the array, and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent, and earth upon his head. And when he came, Eli sat upon a stool and looked toward the way, for his heart feared for the ark of God. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, What meaneth this noise of the rumor? And the man came in hastily and told Eli. Eli was 98 years old, and his sight failed him, that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the array, and fled this day out of the host. And he said, What thing is fortuned, my son? The messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there is a great slaughter chanced among the people. And thy 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. And it fortuned that when he made mention of the ark of God, Eli fell from off his stool backward upon the threshold of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died, for he was an old man and heavy, and judged Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law Phinehas' wife was with child and nigh the birth. And when she heard the tidings that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and travailed, for her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the women that stood about her said unto her, Fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, nor regarded it. And she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory is departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said again, The glory is gone from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. And the Philistines took the ark of God, and carried it from the helpstone unto Ashdod. Again the Philistines took the ark of God, and brought it into the house of Dagon, and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod were up in the next day in the morning, behold, Dagon lay upon the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon, and set him in his place again. And when they were up early in the next morning, behold, Dagon lay upon the ground before the ark of the Lord, and his head and his 2 hands cut off upon the threshold, that only the shape of a fish was left on him. And therefore is it that the priests of Dagon, neither any man that cometh into Dagon's house, tread not on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them, and smote them with emerods, both Ashdod and all the coasts thereof. The villages also in the fields in the midst of the country were full. Full, and there came up mice. Oh, and there was a confusion of great death in the city. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I didn't read this word right. Anyway. And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, The ark of the God of Israel shall not abide here with us, for his hand is sore upon us, and upon Dagon our God. They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them, and said, What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? They answered, Let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of the God of Israel about. And it fortuned that when they had carried it about, there was by the hand of the Lord a mighty great noise in the city, and he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had secret diseases. And the Gittites took counsel, and made themselves privy seats of skins. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron. And as soon as the ark of God came to Ekron, the Ekronites cried out, saying, They have brought the ark of the God of Israel to us, to slay us and our people. And so they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines, and said, Send away the ark of the God of Israel, to go again to his own place, that it slay us not and our people. For there was great lamentation over the dead throughout all the city, and the hand of God was exceeding sore there. And the men that died not were smitten with the emerods, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. 6. The ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months, and the Philistines called forth the priests and soothsayers, saying, What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us wherewith we shall send it home again. They said, If you send the ark of the God of Israel home again, send it not empty, but reward it with trespass offerings, and then ye shall be whole. And it shall be known to you why his hand departeth not from you. And it shall be known the reason. It shall be known for a certainty. Then said they, And what shall be the trespass offering which we shall reward him with? They answered, 5 golden arses and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For it is one manner of plague on you all and on your lords. Wherefore ye shall make images like to your arses, and images like to your mice, that corrupt the land. And ye shall give glory unto the God of Israel, that he may take his hand from off you, and from off your gods, and from off your land. Wherefore do ye harden your hearts, as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts, which when he took on against them? Did they not let? Okay. Which when the Lord took on against them, take on against. Did they not let the people go, and they departed? Now therefore make a new cart, and take 2 milk kine, on whose neck there hath come no yoke, and tie the kine to the cart, and bring the calves home from them. And take the ark of the Lord, and lay it upon the cart, and put the jewels of gold, which ye reward him for a sin offering, in a coffer by the side thereof, and send it away, that it may go. And if ye see that he go up by the way of his own coast to Bethshemesh, then it is he that did us this great evil. If no, we shall know then that it is not his hand that smote us, but it was a chance that happened us. And the men did even so, and took 2 kine that gave milk, and tied them to the cart, and kept the calves at home. And they laid the ark of the Lord upon the cart and the coffer, with the mice of gold, and with the images of their arses. And the kine took the straight way to Bethshemesh, and went on the straight way. And as they went, lowed, and turned neither to the right hand nor to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them until the borders of Bethshemesh. And they of Bethshemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley. And they lift up their eyes and spied the ark, and rejoiced when they saw it. And the cart came into the field of one Joshua the Bethshemite, and stood still there. There was also a great stone. And they clave the wood of the ark, and offered the kine a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord, and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Bethshemesh sacrificed burnt sacrifice, and offered offerings that same day unto the Lord. And when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these are the golden arses which the Philistines gave to amends for a trespass offering to the Lord. For Ashdod 1, for Gaza 1, for Ashkelon 1, for Gath 1, for Ekron 1. And golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, even according to the 5 lords, both of walled towns and towns unwalled, even unto the great stone of lamentation, whereon they set down the ark of the Lord, which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua, Joshua the Bethshemite. And he plagued the men of Bethshemesh, because they had seen the ark of the Lord. And he slew among the people 50,000 and 60 men. And the other people lamented, because the Lord had slain the people with so great a slaughter. Wherefore the men of Bethshemesh said, Who is able to stand before the Lord so holy a God? The Lord so holy a God. And to whom shall he go from us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath-Jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought again the ark of the Lord. Come ye down therefore, and fetch it up to you. 7. And so the men of Kiriath-Jearim came and fetched up the ark of the Lord, and brought it into the house of Aminadab in Gibeah, and sanctified Eleazar his son to keep the ark of the Lord. And while the ark abode in Kiriath-Jearim, the days multiplied. And there passed over 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord. And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, If ye be come again unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtaroth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only, for he shall rid you out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the children of Israel did put away Baalim and Ashtaroth, and served the Lord only. And Samuel said, Gather all Israel to Mizpah, and I will pray for you unto the Lord. And they gathered together to Mizpah, and drew water, and poured it out before the Lord, and fasted the same day, and said there, We have sinned against the Lord. And Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpah. When the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together to Mizpah, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. And when the children of Israel heard that, okay, when they heard that, they were afraid of the Philistines. And the children of Israel said to Samuel, Cease not to cry unto the Lord our God for us, that he may save us out of the hand of the Philistines. And Samuel took a sucking lamb, and offered it altogether for a burnt offering unto the Lord, and cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. And as Samuel offered the burnt offering, the Philistines came to fight against Israel, but the Lord thundered a great thunder that same day among the Philistines, and scattered them, that they fell before Israel. And the men of Israel went out to Mizpah, and pursued the Philistines, and followed upon them, until the place that is under Bethkar. And then Samuel took a stone, and pitched it between Mizpah and the mark of the rock, and called the name thereof the stone of help, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us. And so the Philistines were brought under, and they came no more into the coasts of Israel, and the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. Therefore the cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored again to Israel, even from Acharon to Gath, or Ekron, with the coasts of the same, and Israel plucked them out of the hands of the Philistines. And there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life, and went about year by year to Bethel, Gilgal, and Mizpah, and judged Israel in all those places, and came again to Ramah, for there was his house. And there he judged Israel also, and there he built an altar unto the Lord. 8. When Samuel was old, he made his sons judges over Israel. The name of his eldest son was Joel, and the name of the second son Abiah, and they were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took reward, and perverted the right. Then all the elders of Israel gathered them together, and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now therefore make us a king to judge us, as all other nations have. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord said unto Samuel, Hear the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not cast thee away, but me, that I should not reign over them. And as they have ever done, since I brought them out of Egypt unto this day, and have forsaken me, and served other gods, even so do they unto thee. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet testify unto them, and show them the authority of the king that shall reign over them. The kind of authority, the manner. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked a king of him, and he said, This shall be the authority of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and put them to his chariots, and make his horsemen of them, and to run before his chariot, and will make him of them, he will make him of your sons captains over thousands and over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground, and to gather in his harvest, and to make instruments of war, and apparel for his chariots. And he will take your daughters, and make them apothecaries, cooks, and bakers, confectioners. And he shall take the best of your fields, and of your vineyards, and of your olive trees, and give them to his servants. And he shall take the tenth of your seed, and of your vineyards, and give it to his chamberlains, and to his servants, and to his servants. And he shall take the best of your men servants and maidservants, and young men, and of your asses, and put them to his work. And he shall take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And ye shall cry out at that time upon your king, which ye shall have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you at that day. Nevertheless the people would not hear the voice of Samuel, but did say, Nay, not so, but there shall be a king over us, that we may be like other nations, and that our king may judge us, and go out before us, and fight our battles for us. Therefore when Samuel heard all the words of the people, he rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, Hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, Go every man unto his city. 9. There was a man of Benjamin named Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiah, the son of a man that was a Gemanite, a man of strength and might, and the same had a son called Saul, a goodly young man and a fair, so that among the children of Israel there was none goodlier than he. For from the shoulders upward he was higher than all the other people. And the asses of this Kish, Saul's father, were lost. And Kish said to Saul his son, Take one of the lads with thee, and go up and seek the asses. And he went through Mount Ephraim and through the land of Shalisha, but they found them not. Then they went through the land of Shali, and there they were not. Sali? When they went also through the land of Gemini, they found them not. At the last, when they were come to the land of Zuph, Saul said unto his lad that was with him, Come, let us return, lest my father leave off caring for the asses, and take thought for us. He said unto him, Behold, there is in this city a man of God, and he is a worshipful man. All that he saith cometh surely to pass. Now then, let us go thither. Peradventure he shall show us what way we may go. Then said Saul to his lad, If we will go, what shall we bring the man? For our bread is all spent out of our vessels, and there is none other present to bring the man of God. What have we? And the lad answered Saul again, and said, I have found about me the fourth part of a shekel. That will I give the man of God to tell us our way. Before time in Israel, when a man went to seek an answer of God, thus wise he spake, Come, and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was in the old time called a seer. Then said Saul to his lad, Well said of thee, Come, let us go. And so they went unto the city where the man of God was. And as they were going up into the city, they met with damsels that came out to draw water, and said unto them, Is there here a seer? And the maidens answered them, Yea, here is one. Behold, he is before you. Make haste now, for he came this day to the city. For there is an offering of the people this day in the hill. When ye be come into the city, ye shall find him straightway, ere ye come up to the hill to eat. For the people will not eat until he come, because he doth bless the offering. And then eat they that be bidden to the feast. This is an N, it looks like an N, but it's bidden to the feast. Now therefore get you up, for this day shall ye find him. And they went up into the city, and when they were come into the midst of the city, behold, Samuel came out against them for to go up to the hill. But the Lord had told Samuel in his ear a day before Saul came, saying, Tomorrow this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin. Him shalt thou anoint to be a captain over my people Israel, that he may save my people out of the hands of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, and their cry is come unto me. When Samuel therefore saw Saul, the Lord answered him, See, this is the man whom I spake to thee of. This same shall reign over my people. Then went Saul to Samuel in the middle of the gate, and said, Tell me, I pray thee, where the seer's house is. Samuel answered Saul, and said, I am the seer. Go up before me unto the hill, for ye shall eat with me today. And tomorrow I will let thee go, and will tell thee all that is in thine heart. And as for thine asses that were lost 3 days ago, care not for them, for they are found. And moreover, whose shall the beautiful things of Israel be? Belong they not to thee, and to all thy father's house? Belong they not to thee, and to all thy father's house? Something like that. But Saul answered and said, Am not I the son of a Gemanite, of the smallest tribe of Israel, and my kindred is the least of all the kindreds of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore then speakest thou so to me? And Samuel took Saul and his lad, and brought them into the parlor, and made them sit in the chiefest place among them that were bidden, which were upon 30 persons. And Samuel said unto the cook, Bring forth the portion which I gave thee, and of which I said unto thee, Keep it with thee. And the cook took up the shoulder, and that which was upon it, and set it before Saul. And Samuel said, Behold, that which is left. Behold, that which is left. Put it before thee, and eat. For hitherto hath it been kept for thee of purpose, when I called for the people. Okay, there's lots of colons here. And Samuel said, Behold that which is left. put it before thee and eat, for hitherto hath it been kept for thee of purpose when I called the people. And so Saul did eat with Samuel that day. And when they were come down from the hill into the city, Samuel communed with Saul upon the top of the house. And when they arose early about the spring of the day, Samuel called Saul upon the top of the house, saying, Up, that I may send thee away. And Saul arose, and they went out at the doors, both he and Samuel. And when they were come almost out of the town, Samuel said to Saul, Bid the lad go before us. And he went before. But stand thou still a while, that I may show thee what God saith. 10. And then Samuel took a vessel of oil, and poured it upon his head, and kissed him, and said, Hath not the Lord anointed thee to be a captain over his inheritance? And thou shalt deliver his people out of the hands of their enemies, which are round about them. And this token shalt thou have, that the Lord hath anointed thee to be prince. When thou art departed from me this day, thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin, even at Zalazah. Is that Shalisha? Zalazah? And they will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found. And lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, What shall I do for my son? Then shalt thou go forth from thence, and shalt come to the plain of Tabor. And there shall meet thee 3 men going up to God to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee, and give thee the 2 loaves of bread which thou shalt receive of their hands. After that shalt thou come to the hill of God, where the Philistines keep their watch. And when thou art come thither to the city, thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the hill with a psalter, a timbrel, and a pipe, and an harp before them, and they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee also, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shalt be turned into another man. Therefore, when these signs are chanced to thee, do what thou hast to do, for God is with thee. And thou shalt go before me to Gilgal, and I also will come down unto thee to sacrifice burnt sacrifices, and to offer peace offerings. Tarry for me 7 days, till I come to thee, and show thee what thou shalt do. And as soon as he had turned his shoulder to go from Samuel, God gave him another manner of heart. And all those tokens came to pass that same day. And when they came to the hill, behold, the company of prophets met him. And the Spirit of God came upon him also, and he prophesied among them. And all that knew him before, when they saw that he prophesied among the prophets, they said each to each other, How is this that is happened unto the son of Kish? Or what is this? What manner is this? Is Saul also among the prophets? And one of the same place answered and said, Who is their father? And thereof came the proverb, What is Saul also among the prophets? Or maybe what? What is Saul also among the prophets? The usage of how and what for exclamations is maybe reversed 500 years ago, it seems like. And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the hill. And Saul's father's brother said unto him and to his lad, Whither went ye? He said, To seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, Tell me what Samuel said unto you. Saul answered his uncle, He told us plainly that the asses were found. But of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, told he him not. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord to Mizpah, and said unto the children of Israel, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hands of all kingdoms that troubled you. And ye have this day cast away your God that helped you out of all your adversities and tribulations. And you have said unto him, Make a king over us. Now therefore stand you before the Lord by your tribes and your thousands. And when Samuel had brought all the tribes of Israel, the tribe of Benjamin was caught. When he had brought the tribe of Benjamin by their kindreds, the kindred of Matri was caught. And at the last Saul the son of Kish was caught, and when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they asked the Lord further if that man should come thither. And the Lord answered, Behold, he hath hidden himself among the stuff. And they came and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from the shoulders upward. And Samuel said to all the people, See ye not him whom the Lord hath chosen, and how there is none like him among all the people? And all the people shouted and said, God lend thee life. God lend thee life. Then, God lend life to thee. Then Samuel told the people the duty of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it up before the Lord, and sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there followed him strong men, whose hearts God had touched. But the children of Belial said, How shall he save us? And they despised him, and brought him no presents. And he held his tongue. 11. Nahash the Ammonite came and besieged Jabesh in Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we will be thy servants. And Nahash the Ammonite answered them, In this will I make a covenant with you, if I may thrust out all your right eyes, and bring that shame upon all Israel. Um, oh, oops. To whom the no, to whom the elders of Jabesh said, Give us 7 days' respite, that we may send messengers unto all the coasts of Israel, and then if there be no man to help us, we will come out to thee. Then came the messengers to Gibeah unto Saul, and told this tidings in the ears of the people. And all the people lifted up their voices and wept. And behold, Saul came following the cattle out of the field. And Saul said, What aileth this people that they weep? And they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and he was exceeding angry, and took a yoke of oxen, and hewed them in pieces, and sent them throughout all the coasts of Israel by the hands of messengers, saying, Whosoever cometh not forth after Saul and after Samuel, so shall his oxen be served. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out as it had been but one man. And when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel were 300,000 men, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said unto the messengers that came, So say unto the men of Jabesh in Gilead, Tomorrow by the time the sun be hot, ye shall have help. And the messengers came and showed the men of Jabesh, which were glad. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, Tomorrow we will come out unto you, and ye shall do with us all that pleaseth you. And on the morrow it fortuned that Saul put the people in 3 parts, and they came in upon the host in the morning watch, and slew the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And they that remained were scattered, so that 2 of them were not left together. And the people said unto Samuel, What is he that dare say, Shall Saul reign over us? Bring those men that we may slay them. And Saul said, There shall no man die this day, for today the Lord hath saved Israel. Then said Samuel unto the people, Come, that we may go to Gilgal, and renew the kingdom there. And all the people went to Gilgal, and made Samuel king there before the Lord in Gilgal. And there they offered peace offerings before the Lord. And there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced exceedingly. 12. Samuel said unto all Israel, Behold, I have hearkened unto your voice, and all that you said unto me, and have made you a king. Now therefore your king walketh before you, and I am old and grey-headed. And behold, my sons are with you, and I have walked before you from my childhood unto this day. Behold, here I am, bear record of me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken? Whom have I done wrong to? Whom have I hurt? Or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind mine eyes therewith? And I will restore it you again. They said, Thou hast done us no wrong, nor hurt us. Neither hast thou taken, or hast thou take, aught of any man's hand. He said unto them again, The Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that ye have found naught in my hands. And they answered, He is witness. And Saul said unto the people, It is the Lord that made Moses and Aaron, and that brought your fathers out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord, according to all the righteousness of the Lord, which he showed both you and your fathers. After that Jacob was come into Egypt, and your fathers cried unto the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, which brought your fathers out of Egypt, and made them dwell in this place. And when they forgat the Lord their God, he delivered them into the hand of Sisera, captain of the host of Hazor, and unto the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab. And they fought against them, and they cried unto the Lord, and said, We have sinned, because we have forsaken the Lord, and have served Baalim and Ashtaroth. Now therefore deliver us out of the hands of our enemies, and we will serve thee. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal, Badan, Jephthah, and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hands of your enemies on every side, and ye dwelled safe. And for all that, when ye saw that Nahash the king of the children of Ammon came against you, ye said unto me, Not so, but a king shall reign over us, when yet the Lord your God was your king. Now therefore, behold, the king whom ye have chosen, and whom ye have desired, lo, the Lord hath set a king over you. If you will fear the Lord and serve him, and hear his voice, and not disobey the word of the Lord, both ye and the king that reigneth over you shall follow the Lord your God. If you will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord, but disobey the Lord's mouth, then shall the hand of the Lord be upon you and on your fathers. Now also stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not now wheat harvest? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that ye may perceive and see how that your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking you a king. And so Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that same day. And all the people feared the Lord and Samuel exceedingly. And all the people said unto Samuel, Pray for thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not, for we have sinned in asking us a king, beside all the sins that ever we did. And Samuel said unto the people, Fear not, ye have indeed done all this wickedness, yet depart not from following the Lord, but serve him even with all your hearts. Neither um, neither turn ye after vain things which are not able to profit you, for they are but vanity. For the Lord will not forsake his people, because of his great name's sake, because it hath pleased the Lord God to make you his people. Moreover, oh, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord and cease praying for you, but to show you the good and right way. Therefore fear ye the Lord, and serve him in the truth and with all your hearts, and consider how great things he hath done for you. And if ye do wickedly, then shall ye perish, both ye and your king. God forbid that I should sin against the Lord and cease praying for you. 13. Saul had been king 1 year when these things came to pass, and he reigned 2 years over Israel. And Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel. 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and Mount Bethel, and 1,000 with Jonathan's in Gibeah Benjamin. And the rest of the people he sent every man to his own house again. And Jonathan smote the hold of the Philistines, and was in the hill, and it came to the Philistines' ears. And Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. And all Israel heard say how that Saul had destroyed an hold of the Philistines. Wherefore Israel stank before the Philistines, and the people gathered together after Saul to Gilgal. The Philistines, or the Philistines also gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, with other people like the sand of the sea's side in multitude, and came up and pitched in Michmash eastward from Bethaven. And when the men of Israel saw it, they were in a strait, and fear came upon the people, and they hid themselves in caves, and in privy holes, and in rocks, and in high places, and in pits. And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to go unto the land of Gad and Gilead. And Saul was yet in Gilgal, and all the people that followed him were astonied. And he tarried 7 days, even unto the time that Samuel had appointed. Then Saul sent 2 men to David, saying, Go But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were therefore scattered from him. And Saul said, Bring a burnt sacrifice to me and peace offerings. And he offered burnt sacrifice. And as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt sacrifice, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went against, ahead of him to bless him. And Samuel said, went ahead to him. Samuel said, What hast thou done? Saul said, Because I saw that the people scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together to Michmash. Therefore said I, The Philistines shall come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. And when I had overcome myself, at the last I offered a burnt offering. And Samuel said to Saul, Thou art become a fool. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For at this time would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee. And Samuel rose and gat him up from Gilgal to Gibeah Benjamin. And the remnant of the folk went up after Saul to meet the people which fought against them, as they were coming from Gilgal to Gibeah in the battle in the hill of Benjamin. And Saul numbered the people that were found with him, and they were about 600 men. And Saul and Jonathan his son, and the people that were found with them, had their abiding in the hill of Benjamin. But the Philistines pitched in Michmash, and there came out of the host of the Philistines 3 companies to destroy. 1 company turned unto the way that leadeth to Ophrah, unto the land of Saul. And another company turned the way to Bethhoron, and the 3rd company turned to the way of the coast that is seen above the valley of Zeboim toward the wilderness. There was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, Lest haply the Hebrews make them swords or spears. But all the Israelites went down to the Philistines to amend every man his share, his mattock, his axe, and his necessary tools. And then the edges of the shares, mattocks, dung forks, and axes were blunt, and also the forks were to be set in. They were amended, but they were kept blunt and set in. The tines of the forks, I suppose. And so in time of battle there was neither sword nor spear found in the hands of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan's. But with Saul and Jonathan's his son was there somewhat found. And the watch of the Philistines came out to go over unto Michmash. 9. And it fortuned at the same time that Jonathan the son of Saul said unto his young men that bare his harness, Come and let us go over to the Philistines' watch, and that are yonder on the other side. And he told not his father. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under Rimmon, which is in Migron, and the people that were with him were upon 600 men. And Ahiah the son of Ahitub, Jechobad's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, was the Lord's priest in Shiloh, and bare an ephod. And the people wist not that Jonathan's was gone. And in the midst of the passage by which Jonathan sought to go over to the Philistines' watch, were there 2 sharp rocks, even one on the one side and the other on the other side, the one called Bozez and the other Sene. The forefront of the one leaned northward toward Michmash, and the other was southward toward Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man that bare his harness, Come and let us go over unto the watch of these uncircumcised. Peradventure the Lord will work with us. For it is no hardness with the Lord to save, either in many or in few. And his harness-bearer said unto him, Do all that is in thine heart. Go where it pleaseth thee. Behold, I am with thee, as thine heart listeth. Then said Jonathan, Behold, we go over unto those men, and shall show ourselves unto them. If they say on this wise to us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place and not go up to them. And if they say, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into our hands. And this shall be a sign unto us. And they both showed themselves unto the watch of the Philistines. And the Philistines said, See the Hebrews come out of the holes where they had hid themselves in. And the men of the watch answered Jonathan and his harness-bearer, and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his harness-bearer, Come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. And Jonathan's climbed climb up upon hands and feet, and his harness-bearer after him. And so when they had seen Jonathan's face, they fell before Jonathan's, and his harness-bearer slew them after him. And the first slaughter which Jonathan's and his harness-bearer made was upon 20 men, within the compass, as it were, about an half acre of land. And there was a fear in the host in the field and among all people, inasmuch that they that were gone out of the watch to rob were afraid also, and the earth trembled for the fear that was sent of God. And the watchmen of Saul in Gibeah Benjamin saw, and behold, the people of the Philistines were scattered, and were smitten as they went. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Search and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan's and his harness-bearer were not there. And Saul said unto Ahiah, Bring hither the ark of God. For the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. And it fortuned that while Saul talked with the priest, the noise that was in the host of the Philistines spread farther abroad, and increased by little and little, and gave a more clear sound. And Saul said unto the priest, Withdraw thine hands. And Saul joined himself unto all the people that were with him, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great rumor. Commotion. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, and were come with them into all parts of the host, turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan's. And all the men of Israel also, which had hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, as soon as they heard how that the Philistines were fled, they followed after them in the battle. And so God helped Israel that day, and the battle continued unto Bethaven. And when the men of Israel were kept down with hunger that day, Saul charged the people with an oath, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food or foods till night, till I be avenged of mine enemies. And so none of the people tasted any sustenance, and all the inhabitants of the land came to a wood where honey lay upon the ground. And the people came into the wood, and behold, the honey dropped, and no man moved his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath, wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in the honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth. And his eyes received sight. Then answered one of the people, and said, Thy father adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any sustenance this day. And the people were fainty. Then said Jonathan, My father hath troubled the land. See how mine eyes have received sight, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more then today, if the people had eaten of the spoil of their enemies which they found? And had there not been then a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? And they laid on the Philistines that day, from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were exceeding faint. And the people gat them to the spoil, and took sheep, oxen, and calves, and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood. Then men told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have trespassed. Roll a great stone unto me this day. And Saul said again, Go abroad among the people, and bid them bring every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and sin not against the Lord in eating with the blood. And the people brought every man his ox in his hand by night, and slew them there. And Saul made an altar unto the Lord. And that was the first altar that he made unto the Lord. And Saul said, Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until it be day in the morning. Spoil them until it be day in the morning, and let us not leave one man of them. And they said, Do whatsoever thou thinkest best. Then said the priest, Let us come hither unto God. And Saul asked of God, Shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hands of Israel? But he answered him not at that time. And Saul said, Let the people come hither out of all quarters, and know and see by whom the sin is chanced this day. For as truly as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan's my son, he shall die the death. But there was no man among all the people that answered him. Then he said unto all Israel, Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan's my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, What thou thinkest best, that do. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. Lord God, give thou the judgment. How happeneth it that thou givest thy servant no answer today? In this sin, if this sin be in me or in Jonathan's my son, show it, or if this iniquity be in thy people. And Saul and Jonathan's were caught, but the people escaped free. And Saul said, Cast lots between me and Jonathan's my son. And Jonathan's was caught. Then Saul said to Jonathan's, Tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan's told him and said, I tasted a little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die. Saul answered, God do so and so to me. God do so and so to me. God do so um, and more, to me. Thou shalt die the death, Jonathan's. And the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan's die, which hath so mightily helped Israel? God forbid. As truly as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. And so the people delivered Jonathan's, that he died not. And then Saul departed up from following the Philistines. And the Philistines, because the Lord wasn't with him to do it, to go to fight. And the Philistines went to their own place. And so Saul held the kingdom over Israel, and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, against the children of Ammon, against Edom, against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines. And whithersoever he turned himself, there he won. And he gathered his host together, and smote the Amalekites, and rid Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. The sons of Saul were Jonathan's, Jesui, and Melchishua. And his two daughters were thus named. The elder was Merab, and the younger Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoah, the daughter of Ahimaaz. And the name of his chief captain was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was Saul's father. And Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And there was sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And whomsoever Saul saw to be a strong man and meet for the war, he took him unto him. 15. Samuel said unto Saul, The Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how they laid wait for them in the way, as they came out of Egypt. Now therefore go and smite Amalek, and destroy ye all that pertaineth unto them, and see thou have no compassion on them. And covet nothing that they have, slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together, and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen, and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek, and set watch in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go and depart, and get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For he showed mercy to all the children of Israel, when they came out of Egypt. And so the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah, as thou comest to Shur, that lieth before Egypt, and took Agag the king of the Amalekites alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the better sheep, and the fatter oxen, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not destroy them. But all that was foul and not worth, that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have made Saul king, for he is turned from me, and hath not performed my commandments. And Samuel was evil apaid. That would be like, kind of like evil rewarded, where reward means yeah, that's a hard one. Well, or kind of like evil afflicted, and cried unto the Lord all night. When Samuel arose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel that Saul was come to Carmel, and behold, he hath made him there a place, and is turned and departed, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul offered burnt sacrifice unto the Lord of the first of the spoils which he had brought from Amalek. And when Samuel was come unto Saul, Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou in the Lord. I have fulfilled the commandment of the Lord. Samuel said, What meaneth then the bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the noise of the oxen which I hear? Saul answered, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice them unto the Lord thy God, and the remnant have we destroyed utterly. Samuel said to Saul, Let me tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel. And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy those sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until thou utterly destroy them. And wherefore hast thou not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord, but hast turned to the prey, and hast done that which is wicked in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have hearkened unto the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me unto, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep, oxen, and the chiefest of the things which should have been destroyed, to offer unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great pleasure in burnt sacrifices and offerings, as when the voice of the Lord is obeyed? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as the wickedness of idolatry. We have a parallel here. The opposite of obey is rebellion. To disobey is as witchcraft, and to not hearken is stubbornness. These are equated here. Opposite of hearken, stubbornness. Opposite of obey, rebellion. These are definitions. The Bible defines words like in this way. Because thou hast cast away the word of the Lord, therefore hath the Lord cast away thee also from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have gone further than the saying of the Lord thy words, because I feared the people, and obeyed their voice. Now therefore take away my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast cast away the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath cast away thee, that thou shalt not be king over Israel. And as Samuel turned himself to go away, he caught him by the lap of his coat, and it rent. And Samuel said unto him, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine that is better than thou. The strength of Israel will not beguile, nor repent. For he is not a man that can repent. Well, he's not as a man that can repent. He does not repent like humans or men do. The Lord does not repent the way humans repent. The Lord does repent, but not like men do. He said, yeah, it's a totally different kind. It's a different kind, different nature. He said, I have sinned, but now honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel, and turn again with me, that he may worship the Lord thy God. That Israel may worship the Lord thy God? Is that the he? The he is Israel here? And so Samuel turned again and followed Saul. And Saul worshipped the Lord. Then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately. And Agag said, truly the bitter death cometh on. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless above other women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. And then Samuel departed to Ramah, and Saul went home to his house to Gibeah Saul. And Samuel came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord repented that he had made Saul king over Israel. And this is kind of a summary of the events. The Lord repented that he had made Saul king over Israel. Not after this, but this points back to what happened. 16. The Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have cast him away from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with ointment, and come, that I may send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, How can I go? For if Saul hear it, he will kill me. The Lord answered, Take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to offer to the Lord. And call Jesse to the offering, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint him whom I name unto thee. And so Samuel did as the Lord bade him, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town were astonied at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? Wow, is Samuel that so formidable? He answered, Yea, I am come to offer unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the offering. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and bade them to the offering. And when they were come, he looked on Eliab, and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his fashion, or on his height of his stature, because I have refused him. For God seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but God beholdeth the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab, and made him come before Samuel. And he said, Neither hath the Lord chosen this. Then Jesse made Shammah to come, and he said, Neither yet hath the Lord chosen him. Again Jesse made 7 of his sons to come before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, The Lord hath chosen none of these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? He said, There is yet a little one behind that keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he be come hither. And he sent and brought him in, and he was brown and of an excellent beauty, and well favored in sight. And the Lord said, Arise and anoint him, for this is he. Therefore Samuel took the horn with the ointment, and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. And Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit sent of the Lord vexed him. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold, an evil spirit sent of God vexeth thee. Let our Lord therefore command his servants that are before thee to seek a man that is a cunning player with an harp, that when the evil spirit sent of God cometh upon thee, he may play with his hand, and thou shalt be eased. Samuel said unto his servants, Provide me a man then that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of his servants, and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, a Bethlehemite, that can play upon instruments, and is an active fellow, and a man of war, and prudent in doing of feats, and well made, and the Lord is with him. Let's count these. Bethlehemite, 1. Can play, 2. Active, 3. Man of war, 4. Prudent in feats, 5. Well made, 6. The Lord is with him, 7. Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse, and said, Send me David my son, which is with the sheep. And Jesse took an ass laden with bread, and a flagon of wine, and a kid, and sent them by David his son unto Saul. Hey, come here. Come here. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him very well. Hey. he loved him very well, and he was made his harness-bearer. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, Let David remain with me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And so it fortuned that when the evil spirit sent of God came upon Saul, David took an harp and played with his hand, and so Saul was refreshed and did amend, and the evil spirit departed from him. 17. The Philistines gathered their host to battle, and came together to Succoth, which is in Judah, and pitched between Succoth and Azekah in the coast of Damim, or Damim. And Saul and the men of Israel came together and pitched in the oak valley, and put themselves in array to fight against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on an hill on the one side, and Israel stood on a hill on the other side, and there was a valley between them. And there came a man between them both out of the tents of the Philistines, named Goliath of Gath, 6 cubits and an handbreadth long, and had a helmet of brass upon his head, and a coat of mail about him. And the weight of his coat of mail was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had boots of brass upon his legs, and a shield of brass upon his shoulders. And the shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam. And his spear head weighed 600 shekels of iron. And one bearing a shield went before him. And he stood and cried against the host of Israel, and said unto them, Why are ye come out in array to battle? Am not I a Philistine, and you servants to Saul? Choose you a man from among you, and let him come down to me. And if he be able to fight with me, and to beat me, then will we be your servants. But if I can overcome him and beat him, then shall ye be our servants, and serve us. And the Philistine said, I defy the host of Israel this day. Give me a man, that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were discouraged and greatly afraid. David was the son of an Ephrathite, of whom mention is made afore, of Bethlehem, Judah, named Jesse, which had 6 sons, and was an old man in the days of Saul, and came to age among men. Came to age among men. Okay. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab the eldest, and the next Abinadab, and the third Shammah, and David was the least. The last. And the 3 eldest went after Saul. David also went and departed from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine came forth in the morning and evening, and continued 40 days. And Jesse said unto David his son, Take for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn, and these 10 loaves, and bring it to the host to thy brethren, and carry these 10 fresh cheeses unto the captain, and look how thy brethren fare, and fetch out their pledge. And Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the oak valley fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning, and left the sheep with the keeper, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him, and came within the compass of the host. And the host went out in array, and shouted in the battle, for Israel and the Philistines had put themselves in array, the one against the other. So David put down the gear from him, and put them under the hands of the keeper of the vessels, and ran into the host, and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there stood a man in the midst, Goliath the Philistine by name, of Gath, out of the array of the Philistines, and spake of the manner above rehearsed, that David heard it. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, ran away from him, and were sore afraid. And every man of Israel said, Saw ye this man come forth? Even to revile Israel is he come. And to him that beateth him will the king give great riches, and will give him his daughter thereto, yea, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by, and said, What shall be done to the man that beateth this Philistine, and taketh away the shame from Israel? And what is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should revile the host of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, So shall it be done to the man that beateth him. And Eliab his eldest brother heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab was angry with David, and said, Why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride, and the malice mischief of thine heart, that thou art come down to see the battle? And David said, And what have I now done? Is there not a word? And he departed from him into the presence of another, and spake of the same manner. And the people answered him again as before. And they that heard the words which David spake rehearsed them before Saul, which caused him to be fetched. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail him because of him, because of Goliath. Thy servant will go and fight with yonder Philistine. And Saul said to David again, or in response, Thou art not able to go against yonder Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a child, but he is a man of war even from his youth. David answered unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion, and likewise a bear, and took a sheep out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and took it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by the beard, and smote him, and slew him. And so thy servant slew the lion, and the bear also hath thy servant slain. And truly this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them. Now will I go and take away the rebuke of the people, for what is this uncircumcised Philistine? Seeing he hath railed on the host of the living God. And David spake moreover, The Lord that delivered me out of the hand of the lion, and out of the hand of the bear, he shall deliver me also out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the Lord shall be with thee. And Saul put his raiment upon David, and put an helmet of brass upon his head, and put a coat of mail upon him, and girded David with his own sword upon his raiment. And he essayed to go, and because he never proved it, David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not used myself thereto, accustomed to myself. David put them off him, and took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of a brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, in a sling poke. And his sling was in his hand, and he went to the Philistine. And the Philistine came and drew near against David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but young and well coloured, and goodly to look upon. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog, that thou comest to me with a staff? And the Philistine cursed David in the name of his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, a spear, and a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the host of Israel, whom thou hast railed upon. This day shall the Lord deliver thee into my hand, and I shall smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the earth, that all they which be in the world may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this congregation shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he shall give you into our hands. And when the Philistine arose to come and draw nigh unto David, David hasted and ran into the battle, even against the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, and took out a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell groaning to the earth. And so David overcame the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him, even when David had no sword in his hand. But David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of his sheath, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel and Judah arose and shouted, and followed after the Philistines until they came to the valley, and unto the gates of Akron. And the Philistines fell down wounded by the way to Sharaim, even unto Gath and Ekron. And the children of children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines, and spoiled their tents. And David took the head of the Philistine, and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his armor in his tent. When Saul saw David go forth against the Philistine, he said unto Abner, the captain of his host, Abner, whose son is this young man? Abner answered, As truly as thy soul liveth, O king, I cannot tell. And the king said, Inquire thou whose son the youngling is. And when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him, and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand. And Saul said to him, Whose son art thou, thou young man? David answered, I am the son of thy servant Jesse the Bethlehemite. 18. And when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, the soul of Jonathan's was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan's loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would not let him go, would let him go no more home to his father's house. Jonathan's made a covenant with David because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan's put off his own coat that was upon him, and gave it David, and thereto, or on top of that, his cloak, his sword, his bow, and his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over his men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and in the sight of Saul's servants. And it happened as they went, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, that women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing against King Saul, or, ahead of King Saul, and with timbrels, with joy, and with instruments of music. And the women answered one another in their play, and said, Saul hath slain his 1,000, and David his 10,000. And Saul was exceeding wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, They have ascribed unto David 10,000, and to me but 1,000. What can he more have, save the kingdom? Wherefore Saul looked on side of David. He looked on side of David from that day forward. He looked sideways at him, kind of. I don't know. He was wary of David. Looked on side of David. And it happened on the morrow that the evil spirit sent of God came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand like as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul took the javelin, and said, I will nail David to the wall with it. David avoided out of his presence 2 times, and Saul was afraid of David, because the Lord was with him, and was departed from Saul. Therefore Saul put him from him, and made him a captain over 1,000, and he went out and in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. Wherefore when Saul saw that he was so exceeding wise, he was afraid of him. I kind of read this as Saul put him in a position of great responsibility in hope of David kind of, fouling it up, tripping, failing at it. But David behaved himself wisely. But all Israel and Judah loved David, because he went out and in before them. And Saul said to David, Behold, my eldest daughter Merab, her I will give thee to wife. Only play the man with me, and fight the Lord's battles. For Saul thought, Mine hand shall not be upon him, but the hand of the Philistines. Yeah, there you go. Even more responsibility, isn't it? David answered Saul, What am I, and what is my life, or the kindred of my father in Israel, that I should be son-in-law to the king? Howbeit, when the time was come that Merab Saul's daughter should have been given to David, she was given unto Adriel, a Mahalathite, to wife. Howbeit, Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they showed Saul, and the thing displeased him not. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the other daughter. And Saul commanded his servants to commune with David secretly, and to say, Behold, the king hath a favor to thee, and all his servants love thee. Be now therefore the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servants spake these words in the ears of David. And David said, Seemeth it to you a light thing to be a king's son-in-law? I am a poor man, and of small reputation. And the servants brought Saul word again, saying, Of this manner spake David. And Saul said, This wise shall ye say to David, The king careth for no other dowry, but for 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought to make David fall into the hands of the Philistines. And when the servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law. And ere the days were expired, David arose with his men, and went and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and satisfied the king thereof, his requirement, to be his son-in-law. Wherefore Saul gave him Michal his daughter to wife. And Saul saw and understood how that the Lord was with David, and that Michal his daughter loved him. and he was the more afraid of David, or because of David. And Saul became alway David's enemy. The lords of the Philistines used to go forth, and it fortuned that when they went forth, David behaved himself wiselier. Okay, sure, more wisely. That's a word. More wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set by, or much set apart, much valued. 19. Saul spake to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. But Jonathan's, Saul's son, had a great favor to David, great favor toward David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father goeth about to slay thee. Now therefore take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in some secret place, and hide thyself. And I will go out and stand by my father in the field where thou art, and will commune with my father of thee, and whatsoever I see I will tell thee. Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant David, for he hath not sinned against thee, and his works have been to thee word very good. For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine, and the Lord brought to pass a great health for all Israel. Thou sawest it, and thou rejoicedst. Wherefore then wilt thou sin against innocent blood, and slay David without a cause? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and sware, As truly as the Lord liveth, he shall not die. And Jonathan called David, and showed him all those words, and brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as in times past. And the war began again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with a great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit sent of the Lord was upon Saul, as he sat in his house, having a javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. And Saul intended to nail David to the wall with the javelin, but he rid himself out of Saul's presence as he smote the spear with a vain stroke into the wall. Oh, he smote the spear into the wall. And David fled and was saved the same night. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him, and to slay him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told it him, saying, If thou save not thyself this night, tomorrow thou wilt be slain. And so Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and was saved. And then she took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow stuffed with goat's hair under the head of it, and covered it with a cloth. And when Saul sent messengers to fetch David, she said, He is sick. And Saul sent the messengers again to see David, saying, Bring him to me, bed and all, that I may slay him. And when the messengers were come in, behold, there lay an image in the bed, with a pillow of goat's hair under the head of it. And Saul said unto Michal, Why hast thou mocked me so, and sent away mine enemy, that he is escaped? Michal answered Saul, for he said unto me, Let me go, or else I will kill thee. So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth. And one told Saul, saying, Behold, David is at Naioth in Ramah. And Saul sent messengers to fetch David, and when they saw a company of prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing fast by them, the Spirit of God fell upon the messengers of Saul, and they prophesied too. And when it was told Saul, he sent other messengers, and they prophesied likewise. And Saul sent messengers yet again the third time, and they prophesied also. Then went he himself to Ramah, and came to a great well that is in Seku. And he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, they be at Naioth in Ramah. And he went thither, even to Naioth in Ramah. And the Spirit of God came upon him also, and he went prophesying until he came to Naioth in Ramah. And he stripped off his clothes, and prophesied before Samuel in like manner, and fell naked all that day and all that night. And thereof it is that they say is Saul also among the prophets. Thereof it is. 20. David fled from Naioth, which is in Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, What have I done? Wherein am I faulty? What is the sin that I have committed before thy father, that he seeketh my life? He said unto him, God forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it me. And how should my father hide this thing from me? He will not do it. And David sware again, and said, Thy father knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes, and therefore he saith, Jonathan shall not know it, lest he be sorry. And in very deed, even as truly as the Lord liveth, and as truly as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, Whatsoever thy soul desireth, that I will do unto thee. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the beginning of the month, and I should sit with the king at meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the fields unto the third day at even. If thy father speak of me, then say, David asked leave of me, that he might go to Bethlehem to his own city, for there is holden a yearly feast for all the kindred. And if he say, It is well done, then thy servant shall have peace. And if he be angry, then be sure that wickedness is utterly concluded of him. And then thou shalt show mercy unto thy servant, for thou hast made with me thy servant a bond in the Lord. Hast made with me thy servant a bond in the Lord. Notwithstanding, if there be in me any trespass, then slay me thyself, and bring me not to thy father. And Jonathan answered, God keep thee from God keep that from thee, neither is it possible to come to pass. For if I knew that wickedness were concluded of my father to come upon thee, thinkest thou that I should not tell it thee? Then said David, Who shall tell me if thy father answer cruelly? And Jonathan said unto David, Come, and let us go out into the field. And they went out both of them into the field. And Jonathan said unto David, The Lord God of Israel look on it, when I have groped or sounded my father's mind one time or other within this 3 days, that it stand well with David. If I then send not unto thee, and show it thee, the Lord do so and so unto Jonathan's. But if my father have any pleasure to do thee evil, I will show thee also, and send thee away, that thou mayest go in peace. And the Lord be with thee, as he hath been with my father. And thou shalt perform unto me the mercy of the Lord, not only while I live, but even when I am dead, and pluck not thy mercy away from my house forever. No, not when the Lord hath destroyed the enemies of David, every one from the face of the earth. And so Jonathan made a bond with the house of David, desiring that the Lord should seek it out by the hands of David's enemies. Require it by the hands of David's enemies. That if Jonathan breaks it, that the Lord would require it of Jonathan by the hands of David's enemies. Or if David breaks it. I should read that again. I thought it was if Jonathan broke it. No, yeah, it does make sense for David to be the one. This is Samuel 20. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And with other words did Jonathan swear unto David, because he loved him, for he loved him as his own soul. Then said Jonathan to David, Tomorrow is the first day of the month, or the moon, and thou shalt be missed, because the place where thou wast wont to sit shall be empty. Therefore this day 3 days from now, come down in any wise unto the place where thou didst hide thyself when the business was in hand, or when that business was in hand, even by the stone Edsel. And I will shoot 3 arrows by thee, by the one side thereof, as though I shot at the mark, as I shot then at a mark, as though I shot them at a mark, and will send a lad, and bid him go seek the arrows. And if I say unto the lad, See, the arrows are on this side thee, bring them. Then come thou, for it is peace and no hurt, as sure as the Lord liveth. And if I say unto the lad, Behold, the arrows are beyond thee, then go in peace, for the Lord hath sent thee away. And as touching this which thou and I have spoken, behold, the Lord be between thee and me forever. And so David hid himself in the field. And when the new moon was come, The king sat him down to eat meat, and the king sat him down after the old manner, in his seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul said nothing at all that day, for he thought, something hath chanced him, that he is not clean. But on the morrow, which was the second day of the new moon, it happened that David's place was empty again. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meat, neither yesterday nor today? Jonathan answered unto Saul, David asked license of me to go to Bethlehem. For he said, Let me go, I pray thee, for our kindred doth hold an offering in the city, and my brother hath sent for me, and therefore I have found favor in thine eyes. Let me go and see my brethren. Therefore I have found favor in thine eyes. This is the cause that he cometh not unto the king's table. Then was Saul angry with Jonathan, and said unto him, Thou wicked rebel, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse unto thine own rebuke, and unto the rebuke and shame of thy mother? For as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the earth, thou shalt not be stablished, nor yet thy kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he is the child of death. Wow. Child of death. He's describing what kind of child he is. Jonathan answered unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Wherefore should he die? What hath he done? And Saul lifted up a spear to hit him, whereby Jonathan wist well that it was utterly determined of his father to slay David. And so Jonathan arose from the table in a great anger, and did eat no meat at the second day of the month, for he was sorry for David, because his father had done him shame. On the next morning Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David, and a little lad with him. And he said unto his boy, Run, and seek out mine arrows which I shot. And as the boy ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. And when the lad was come to the place whither Jonathan had shot the arrow, Jonathan cried after the lad, and said, Is not the arrow beyond thee? And Jonathan cried after the lad again, Make speed, and stand not still. And Jonathan's lad gathered up the arrows, and came to his master. But the lad wist nothing of the matter. Only Jonathan and David wist it. And Jonathan gave his weapons unto the lad that was with him, and said unto him, Go and carry them to the town. And as soon as the lad was gone, David arose out of a place that was toward the south, and fell on his face to the ground, and worshipped 3 times. And they kissed one another, and wept together so long, till David exceeded in weeping. And Jonathan said to David, Go in peace, in the things which we have sworn both of us, in the name of the Lord, saying, The Lord be between thee and me, and between thy seed and mine. Let that stand forever. Now let them stand forever. And he arose and departed. And Jonathan went into the town. 21. I might stop here. Nah, let's keep going. The night is young. 21. Then came David to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was astonied at the sudden coming of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee? And David said to Ahimelech the priest, The king hath commanded me to do a certain thing, and hath said unto me, Let no man know whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee to do. And I have appointed my servants to such and such places. Now therefore, if thou hast aught under thine hand, give me 5 loaves of bread, or what cometh to hand. And the priest answered David, and said, There is no common bread under mine hand, but here is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves from unclean things, especially women. David answered the priest, and said unto him, If of a truth women hath been locked up from us about 3 days when I came out, and the vessels of the young men were holy. Howbeit this way is unpure, and how much more shall there be holiness in the vessel? Howbeit this way is unpure, and how much more shall there be holiness in the vessel? And so the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was none other bread there save the show breads that were taken from before the Lord to put fresh bread there. The day that it was taken away. Okay. Um, and there was there the same day a certain man of the servants of Saul abiding before the Lord, named Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of Saul's herdmen. David said unto Ahimelech, is not here under thine hand either spear or sword? For I have neither brought my sword nor my harness with me, because the king's business required haste. And the priest said, the sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom thou slewest in the oak valley, behold, it is here wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If thou wilt take that, take it, for there is none other save that here. And David said, there is none to that, or like to that. Give it me. And David arose and fled the same day from the presence of Saul, and went to Achish, the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said of him, is not this David the king of the land? Did they not sing unto him in dances, saying, Saul hath slain his 1,000, and David his 10,000? And David put those words into his heart, and was sore afraid of Achish the king of Gath. And he changed his speech before them, and feigned himself mad in their hands, and scrabbled on the doors of the gate, and let his spittle fall down upon his beard. Then said Achish unto his servants, Lo, ye see that this man is beside himself. Wherefore then have ye brought him to me? Have I need of madmen, that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall he come into my house? 22. David therefore departed thence, and escaped, and came unto the cave Adullam. When his brethren also and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him, and there gathered unto him all men that were in cumbrance and debt, and troubled in their minds, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him upon 400 men. And David went thence to Mizpah in the land of Moab, and said unto the king of Moab, Let my father and my mother, I pray thee, come forth unto you, till I know what God will do for me. And he brought them before the king of Moab, and they dwelt with him all the while that David kept himself in hold. And the prophet Gad said unto David, Abide not in hold, but depart and go into the land of Judah. Then David departed and came into the forest of Hareth. And Saul heard that David was come abroad, and also the men that were with him. And Saul sat in Gibeah under a tree in Ramah, having his spear in his hand, and all his men stood about him. And Saul said unto his servants that stood about him, Hear, I pray you, ye sons of Jemini, will the son of Jesse give every one of you fields and vineyards, and make you all captains over thousands and over hundreds? That ye have also conspired against me, and there is none that telleth it me in mine ear. And whereas my son hath made a bond with the son of Jesse, there is none of you that mourneth for me, or showeth it in mine ear. Behold, my son hath stirred up my servant to lie await against me this same day. Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which also stood by the servants of Saul, and said, I saw the son of Jesse when he came to Nob, to Ahimelech the son of Ahitub, which asked counsel of the Lord for him, and gave him victuals, and the sword of Goliath the Philistine also. And the king sent and called for Ahimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house, that is to say, the priests that were in Nob. And they came all to the king. And Saul said, Hear now, thou son of Ahitub. He answered, Here I am, my lord. And Saul said unto him, Why have you conspired against me, thou and the son of Jesse, in that thou hast given him victual and a sword, and hast asked counsel of God for him, that he should arise against me, and lie await for me this day? Ahimelech answered the king and said, Who is so faithful among all thy servants as David, and thereto, or on top of that, the king's son-in-law? And goeth at thy bidding, and is had in honor in thine house. Have I this day first begun to ask counsel at God for him? I suppose that means, have I never asked counsel before, before this day for David? Well, that be far from me, if I had known it. Let not the king put such a thing unto his servant in all the house of my father, for thy servant knew nothing of all this, neither less or more. The king said, Thou shalt surely die, Ahimelech, thou and all thy father's house. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, Turn and slay the priests of the Lord, both because their hand is with David, and because they knew when David fled, and showed it not to me. But the servants of the king would not move their hands to fall upon the priests of the Lord. And the king said to Doeg, Turn thou and fall upon the priests. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and ran upon the priests, and slew that same day 65 persons that did wear a linen ephod. And Nob, the city of the priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and sucklings, oxen, asses, and sheep. And one of the sons of Ahimelech, the priest of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled to David. And Abiathar showed David how that Saul had slain the Lord's priests. And David said unto Abiathar, I wist it the same day, when Doeg the Edomite was there, that he would tell Saul, and I am the cause of the death of all the souls of thy father's house. Abide thou with me, and fear not, for if any man seek my soul, he shall seek thine also. With me thou shalt be in safeguard. 23. Then they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistines fight against Keilah, and spoil the barns. Therefore David asked the Lord's advice, saying, Shall I go and smite these Philistines? And the Lord answered unto David, Go and smite the Philistines, and save Keilah. And David's men that were with him said unto him, See, we be afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we come to Keilah against the host of the Philistines? Then David asked the Lord again. And the Lord answered him and said, Arise and go down to Keilah, for I will deliver the Philistines into thine hand. And so David and his men went to Keilah, and fought with the Philistines, and drove away their cattle, and smote them with a great slaughter. And so David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it chanced, when Abiathar the son of Ahimelech fled to David to Keilah, that he brought an ephod with him in his hand. And it was told Saul that David was come to Keilah. And Saul said, God hath delivered him into mine hand, for he is shut in now that he is come into a town that hath gates and bars. And Saul called all the people together to war, for to go down to Keilah, and to besiege David and his men. And David, having knowledge that Saul imagined mischief against him, said to Abiathar the priest, Bring the ephod. Then said David, O Lord God of Israel, thy servant hath heard that Saul is about to come against Keilah to destroy the city for my sake. Will the men of Keilah deliver me into his hand? And will Saul come down as thy servant hath heard say? O Lord God of Israel, tell thy servant. And the Lord said, He will come down. Then said David, Will the men of Keilah deliver me and the men that are with me into the hand of Saul? And the Lord said, They will betray you. Then said David and his men which were upon 600 arose. Then David and his men which were upon 600 arose and departed out of Keilah, and went whither they could. And it was told Saul that David was fled from Keilah, and he let the journey alone. He let alone making that journey, I guess. Or he let that plan alone. David abode in the wilderness in strongholds, and remained in the mountain in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul sought him every day, but God delivered him not into his hand. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life, and David was in the wilderness of Ziph in a thicket. And Jonathan, David's son, arose and went to David into the thicket, and comforted his hand in God. Comforted his hand in God. Write that phrase down. And said unto him, Fear not, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find thee, and thou shalt be king over Israel, and I must be next unto thee. And that doth Saul my father know. And they made a bond both of them together before the Lord. And David tarried still in the thicket, and Jonathan went to his house. Then came the Ziphites to Saul to Gibeah, saying, Doth not David hide himself fast by us in strongholds, in a thicket that is by the hill of Hakilah, on the right side of the wilderness? Now therefore, king, thou mayest come down according to all the list of thy soul. I'm going to read this as a list. How he lists. Okay. Come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. And Saul said, Blessed are ye in the Lord, for ye have compassion on me. Go, I pray you, and order the matter well. Know and see his haunt, where his foot hath been, and who hath sent him there. For it is told me that he is very subtle, and worketh craftily. See therefore and know all the lurking places where he hideth himself. And come ye again to me with the certainty, and I will go with you. And if he be in the land, I will search him out throughout all the thousands of Judah. And they arose and went to Ziph before Saul. But David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon, in the plain that is on the right hand of Jeshimon. Saul also and his men went to seek, and they told David. Wherefore he went unto a rock and abode in the wilderness of Maon. And when Saul heard that, he followed after David in the wilderness of Maon. And Saul and his men went on the one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side. And David took thought how to get from Saul. And Saul and his men compassed David and his men round about to take them. But there came a messenger to Saul, saying, Haste thee and come, for the Philistines are come into the land. Wherefore Saul returned from persecuting David, and went against the Philistines, and therefore is it that they called the place the rock of separation. And David went thence and dwelt in strongholds at En-gedi. 24. When Saul was come again from following after the Philistines, it fortuned that there were which told him, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi. It fortuned that there were ones which told him. It's a kind of a shortening. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and went to seek David and his men at the height of the rocks, where wild goats remain. And he came to the flocks of sheep in the way, and Saul went into a cave to cover his feet, and David and his men remained in the inward parts of the cave. And the men of David said unto him, See, the day is come, of which the Lord said unto thee, Behold, I will deliver thine enemies into thine hand, and thou shalt do to him as it shall seem good in thy sight. Then David arose and cut off a lap of Saul's garment privily, and immediately David's heart smote him, because he had cut off a lap of Saul's garment. And he said unto his men, The Lord keep me from doing that thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to lay mine hand upon him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord. For as truly as the Lord liveth, except the Lord smite him, or except his day come, or if he go not down to war and perish, the Lord be merciful unto me, that I lay not mine hand upon the Lord's anointed. And so David kept off his servants with these words, and suffered them not to arise against Saul. And Saul rose up out of the cave and went away. And David also arose and went out of the cave, and cried after Saul, saying, My lord king. And when Saul looked behind him, David stooped to the earth, and bowed himself, and said to Saul, Wherefore givest thou an ear to men's words, that say, David seeketh evil against thee? Behold, this day thine eyes hath seen, how that the Lord hath delivered thee this day into mine hands in the cave. And some bade me kill thee, but I had compassion on thee, and said, I will not lay mine hands on my master, for he is the Lord's anointed. And moreover, my father, behold and see yet the lap of thy garment in my hand, inasmuch as I killed thee not, when I cut off the lap of thy garment. Understand therefore and see that there is neither evil nor wickedness in me, and that I have not sinned against thee, and yet thou huntest after my soul to take it. The Lord be judge between thee and me, and the Lord avenge me of thee. But mine hand be not upon thee. According as the old proverb saith, Wickedness proceedeth from the wicked, but mine hand be not upon thee. After whom is the king of Israel come out? After whom dost thou move persecution? After a dead dog, and after a fly? The Lord be judge, and judge between thee and me, and see and plead my cause, and avenge me of thine hand. When David had made an end of speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept, and said to David, Thou art righteouser than I, for thou hast rewarded me with good, whereas I have rewarded thee with evil. And thou hast showed this day how that thou hast dealt lovingly with me, forasmuch as when the Lord had locked me in thine hands, thou killedst me not. For who shall find his enemy and let him depart into a good way? Wherefore the Lord reward thee with good, for that thou hast uh, for that thou hast done unto me this day. And now behold, I wot well that thou shalt be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in thine hand. Swear now therefore unto me by the Lord that thou shalt not destroy my seed after me, and that thou shalt not put my name out of my father's house. And David sware unto Saul. And Saul went home, but David and his men gat them up unto an hold. 25. Oh. And Samuel died, and all the Israelites gathered together and lamented him, and buried him in his own house at Ramah. And David arose and gat him to the wilderness of Paran, and there was a man in Moab, whose possession was in Carmel. And the man was exceeding mighty, and had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. The name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail. And she was a woman of singular wisdom and beautiful, but the man was churlish and of shrewd conditions, or attributes, and was of the kindred of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men, and said unto them, Get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say, Peace be to thee, peace be to thy house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. Behold, I have heard say that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds were with us in the wilderness, and we did them no spite, neither was there aught of the flocks missing unto them all the while they were in Carmel. Ask thy lads, and they will show thee. Wherefore let these young men find favor in thine eyes, for we come in a good season. And give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thine hand unto thy servants and to thy son David. And when David's young men came, they told Nabal all those words in the name of David, and then they held their peace. And Nabal answered David's servants, and said, What is David, and what is the son of Jesse? There is plenty of servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread, my water, and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I wot not whence they be? And so David's servants turned to their way, and went again, and came, and told him all those things. And David said unto his men, Gird every man his sword about him. And they girded every man his sword about him, and David was girded with his sword. And there followed David upon 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. But one of the lads told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers unto our master out of the wilderness to salute him, and he railed on them. And yet the men are very good unto us, and did us no displeasure, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them, when we were in the fields. They were a wall of defense unto us, both by day and night, all the while we were with them keeping sheep. Now therefore take heed and see what thou hast to do, for there is an occasion of evil given against our master and all his household, seeing he is a son of Belial, ungracious to speak to. Then Abigail made haste, and took 200 loaves, and 2 bottles of wine, and 5 sheep ready dressed, and 5 measures of parched corn, and 100 frails of raisins, and 200 topnets of figs. Topnets, and I had to look this up. It's also spelled very strangely, with a type substitution. Topnets. And a frail is a kind of a loose binding. And a fig is apparently the same kind of deal. And laded them on asses, and said unto her young men, Go ye before me. Behold, I come after you. But she told her husband Nabal nothing thereof. And as she rode on her ass, she came privily down the side of the hill, and behold, David and his men came down against her, or ahead of her, and she met them. And David said, in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that naught was missed of all that pertained unto him. And he hath quit me, you know, requited me. He hath, I think I'm going to say, he hath quit me evil for good. He hath requited me evil for good. So and so do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertaineth to him by the dawning of the day anything that pisseth against the wall. God do so to God do so and more. So and so do God unto the enemies of David. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off her ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, Let this unhappy deed be counted mine, my lord, and let thine handmaid speak in thine audience, and hear the word of thine handmaid. Let not my lord the king regard this unthrifty man Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young man of my lord whom thou sentest. Now therefore, my lord, as sure as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, and withdraw thou thine hand from bloodshed. Now I pray God that thine enemies and they that intend to do my lord evil may be as Nabal. And now this is the blessing which thine handmaid hath brought unto my lord, and let it be given unto the young men that follow my lord. Forgive the trespass of thine handmaid, for the Lord will make my lord a sure house, because my lord fighteth the battles of the Lord. My lord David fighteth the battles of the Lord. And there could none evil be found in thee in all thy days. And if any man rise to persecute thee, and to seek thy soul, the soul of my Lord shall be bound as in the bundle of the living with the Lord my God. Shall be found safe. And the souls of thine enemies shall God cast out, even as out of the middle of a sling, very forcefully. And when the Lord shall have done to my Lord all the good that he hath promised thee, and shall have made thee ruler over Israel, then shall it be no decay unto thee, nor discourage of heart. Okay. Then shall it be no decay unto thee, nor discourage of heart unto my Lord, that thou hast not shed blood causeless, nor avenged thyself. That's a cool noun, discourage of heart. But when the Lord shall have dealt well with my Lord, then think on thine handmaid. And David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me. Blessed is thy saying, and blessed art thou, which hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with mine own hand. For in very deed, as sure as the Lord God of Israel liveth, which hath kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hadst hasted and met me, thinkest thou there had been left unto Nabal? Thinkest thou there had been left unto Nabal by the dawning of the day a pisser against the wall? Thinkest thou there had been left unto Nabal by the dawning of the day a pisser against the wall? Question mark. Wow, my inflection is pretty bad right now. Almost done with 1 Samuel. And so David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said to her, Go up in peace to thine house. Behold, I have heard thy voice, and have accepted thy person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, neither less nor more, until the morrow day. But in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, his wife told him those words, and his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And upon it 10 days after, the Lord smote Nabal, that he died. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath judged the cause of my rebuke of the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil, and hath recompensed the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent to commune with Abigail to the intent to take her to his wife. The intent. To the intent. This is like a, okay. This is like a single word phrase. To the intent. To take her to his wife. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us to thee to take thee to his wife. And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my lord. And Abigail hasted and arose, and gat her up upon an ass, and with 5 damsels of hers that went at her feet, and she went after the messengers of David, and became his wife. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were both his wives. But Saul gave Michal his daughter, David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Laish, which was of Galim. 26. The Ziphites came unto Saul to Gibeah, saying, Doth not David hide himself in the hill of Achilah, which is before Jeshimon? Saul arose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph, having 3,000 chosen men of Israel with him, for to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul pitched in the hill of Achilah, which lieth before Jeshimon by the way's side. But David, oh, yeah. But David dwelt in the wilderness, and he saw that Saul came after him into the wilderness. David therefore sent out spies, and understood that Saul was come in very deed. And David arose and came to the place where Saul had pitched, and David beheld the place where Saul lay, and Abner the son of Ner, which was his chief captain. Saul lay within, and the people and the host ran about him. Then answered David and spake to Ahimelech the Hittite. Oh, yeah, this is not. Yeah, okay. Ahimelech the priest was slain. This is Ahimelech the Hittite, and to Abishai the son of Zeruiah, and brother to Joab, saying, Who will go down with me to Saul to the host? And Abishai said, I will go down with thee. And so David and Abishai came down to the people by night. And behold, Saul lay sleeping within the host, and his spear slack, or stuck. Wait a minute. What is that? What did that say? His spear stuck. Stuck. His spear stuck in the ground at his head. But Abner and the people lay round about him. Then said Abishai to David, God hath delivered thine enemy into thine hand this day. Now therefore let me smite him once with my spear to the earth, and I will not smite him the second time. And David said to Abishai, Destroy him not, for who can lay his hand on the Lord's anointed, and be guiltless? And David said furthermore, As sure as the Lord liveth, the Lord shall smite him, or his day shall come to die, or he shall descend into battle, and there perish. The Lord keep me from laying mine hand upon the Lord's anointed. But take thou now the spear that is at his head, and the cruse of water, and let us go. And so David took the spear and the cruse of water from Saul's head, and they gat them away, and no man saw it, or marked it, or awaked. For they were all asleep, because the Lord had sent a dead sleep upon them. Then David went over into the other side, and stood on the top of an hill afar off, a great space being between them. And David cried to the people and to Abner the son of Ner, saying, Hark, hearest thou not, Abner? Abner answered and said, What art thou that criest to the king? And David said to Abner, Art not thou a man, and who is like thee in Israel? Wherefore then hast thou not kept thy lord the king? For there came one of the folk in to destroy the king thy lord. It is not good. It is not good that thou hast done. It is not good that thou hast done. As truly as the Lord liveth, ye are worthy to die, because ye have not kept your master the Lord's anointed. And now see where the king's spear is, and the cruse of water that was at his head. And Saul knew David's voice, and said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my lord, O king. And he said, Wherefore doth my lord thus persecute his servant? For what have I done, or what evil is in mine hand? Now therefore let my lord the king hear the words of his servant. If the Lord have stirred thee up against me, let him smell the savour of a sacrifice. But and if they be the children of men that stirred thee up against me, cursed be they before the Lord. For they have cast me out this day from abiding in the inheritance of the Lord, saying, Hence, hence, and go serve other gods. Now therefore let not my blood fall to the earth before the face of the Lord, for the king of Israel is come out to hunt a fly, as when one doth hunt a partridge in the mountains. Then said Saul, I have sinned. Come again, my son David, for I will do thee no more harm, because my soul was precious in thine eyes this day. Behold, I have played the fool, and have erred exceedingly. And David answered and said, Behold the king's spear, let one of the young men come over and fetch it. The Lord reward every man according to his righteousness and faith. For the Lord delivered thee into my hand this day. But I would not lay mine hand upon the Lord's anointed. And behold, like as thy life was much set by this day in mine eyes, so be my life set by in the eyes of the Lord. That he, and set by meaning much set apart or much valued. That he deliver me out of all tribulation. Then Saul said to David, Blessed art thou, my son David, for thou shalt be a doer and prevail. A doer. A doer of your words. And so David went his way, and Saul turned to his place again. 27. And David said in his heart, I shall perish one day or other by the hand of Saul. Therefore is there nothing better for me than to flee and save myself in the land of the Philistines. And Saul shall cease and seek me no more in all the coasts of Israel, and so shall I escape out of his hand. And David arose, and he and and he and the 600 men that were with him went unto Achish the son of Maachah, king of Gath. And David went with Achish, dwelt with Achish at Gath, both he and his men, every man with his household. And David with his two wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife of Carmel. And it was told Saul that David was fled to Gath, and he sought no more for him. And David said unto Achish, If I have now found grace in thine eyes, let them give me a place in some town in the fields, that I may dwell there. For why should thy servant dwell in the head city of the kingdom with thee? Then Achish gave him Ziklag that same day, for which cause Ziklag pertaineth unto the kings of Judah unto this day. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was 4 months and certain days. And David and his men went up and ran upon the Geshurites, the Gershites, and the Amalekites. For those nations were from the beginning the inhabitants of the land, as men go to Shur, unto the land of Egypt. And David smote the land, and left neither man nor woman alive, and drove away the sheep, the oxen, the asses, camels, and drove away the clothes? Whoa, wait a minute. Sheep, oxen, asses, camels, and clothes? Not sure. And returned and came to Achish. What is this in the King James? I have to look it up now. 27. Drove away. It took away. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that drove away can mean drove away with him. The sheep, the oxen, asses, camels, and clothes, which is obvious now that I read this. And returned and came to Achish. And Achish said, Where have you been roving this day? And David answered, Toward the south of Judah, and toward the south of the Jezreelites, and toward the south of the Kenites. And David saved neither man nor woman alive, nor suffered them to come to Gath, for fear, saith he, lest they should tell on us, saying, So did David, and so will be his manner all the while he dwelleth in the country of the Philistines. Tell on us. I don't think I've seen this phrase, tell on us, in any King James Version or anything after this. That's kind of neat. And Achish believed David, saying, He abhorreth his people of Israel, and therefore he shall be my servant forever, because they won't take him back, he thinks. 28. And it chanced in those days that the Philistines gathered their host together to war, to fight with Israel. And Achish said to David, Be sure thou shalt go out with me in the battle, to the battle, thou and the men that are with thee. And David said to Achish, Then thou shalt know what thy servant can do. And Achish said again to David, Then I will make thee keeper of my head forever. Samuel was then dead, and all Israel had lamented him, and buried him in Ramah, his own city. And Saul had put the women that had spirits of prophecy and the soothsayers out of the land. And the Philistines gathered together and came and pitched in Shunem. And Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart was sore astonied. And when Saul asked counsel of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor yet by prophets. Then said Saul unto his servants, Seek me a woman that hath a spirit of prophecy, that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and ask of her. And his servants said to him, Behold, there is a woman that hath a spirit of prophecy at Endor. And Saul changed himself, disguised himself, and put on other raiment, and then went he and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, Prophesy unto me by the Spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. Okay. And bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath destroyed the women that had prophesying spirits, and the sorcerers, out of the land. Wherefore then seekest thou an occasion against my soul, that he may kill me? And Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, As surely as the Lord liveth, there shall no harm chance thee for this thing. Then said the woman, Whom shall I fetch up unto thee? He answered, Bring me up Samuel. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and spake to Saul, saying, Why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, Be not afraid. What seest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I see gods ascending up out of the earth. He said unto her again, What fashion is he of? She answered, There cometh up an old man with a mantle upon him. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground, and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, Why hast thou disquieted me to make me be brought up? And Saul answered, I am sore encumbered, for the Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets, neither by dreams. And therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest tell me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, Wherefore dost thou ask of me, while the Lord is gone from thee, and is become thine enemy? Truly, the Lord hath done for himself, even as he spake by my hand. Hath done for himself, even as he spake by my hand. Even as he spake by my hand. For the Lord hath rent the kingdom out of thy hand, and given it thy neighbor David, because thou obeyedst not the voice of the Lord, nor executest his fierce wrath upon the Amalekites. Therefore hath the Lord done this unto thee this day. And moreover the Lord will deliver Israel with thee into the hands of the Philistines. Tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. Shalt thou and thy sons be with me, and the Lord shall give the host of Israel into the hands of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway flat on the earth, as long as he was And this, long indicates his height. Flat on the earth, fully, and was sore adread because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day and the night before. And the woman came unto Saul, and saw that he was sore troubled, and said unto him, See, thine handmaid hath obeyed thy voice, and hath put my soul in thine hand, and hath hearkened unto thy words which thou saidst unto me. Now therefore hearken thou also unto the voice of thine handmaid, and let me set a morsel of bread before thee, that thou mayest eat and get thee strength, and then go on thy journey. Get strength to thee. He refused, and said, I will not eat. But his servants and the woman together compelled him, and he hearkened unto their voice. And so he arose from the earth, and sat him on a bed. And the woman had a fat calf in the house, and she hasted and killed it, and took flour, and kneaded it, and did bake sweet cakes thereof, and brought them before Saul and before his servants. And when they had eaten, they stood up, and went away the same night. 29. The Philistines were gathered together with all their armies unto Aphek, and the Israelites pitched in Ain, which is in Jezreel. And the lords of the Philistines went forth with the hundreds and thousands, but David and his men came behind with Achish. Then said the lords of the Philistines, What are yonder Hebrews? Achish said unto the lords of the Philistines, Is not this David the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, which hath been with me these days or years? Days or years. I have found no fault in him, since he fled unto me unto this day. And the lords of the Philistines were wroth with him, and said unto him, Make this fellow return, that he may go again to his place which thou hast appointed him, and let him not go down with us to battle, lest in the battle he be an adversary to us. For wherewith could he better obtain the favor of his master than with the heads of these men? Is not this David, to whom they sang in dances, that Saul slew his 1,000, and David his 10,000? Then Achish called David, and said unto him, As sure as the Lord liveth, thou hast been honest and good in my sight, when thou wentest out and in with me in the host. Neither have I found evil with thee since thou camest to me unto this day. Nevertheless the lords of the Philistines favor thee not. Wherefore now return and go in peace, that thou displease not the lords of the Philistines. And David said unto Achish, What have I done? What hast thou found in thy servant, as long as I have been with thee unto this day, that I may not go fight against the enemies of my lord the king? Achish answered and said to David, I know that thou art good, and art in my sight as an angel of God. Notwithstanding, the lords of the Philistines have said, Let him not go up with us to battle. Wherefore now rise up early in the morning with thy master's servants that are come to thee, and when ye be up early, as soon as ye have light, depart. And so David and his men rose up early to depart in the morning, and to return into the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. 30. But when David and his men were come to Ziklag the third day, that the Amalekites had rushed in upon the south and upon Ziklag, and had smitten Ziklag, and burnt it with fire, and had taken the women that were therein prisoners, both small and great, but slew not a man, save carried them with them. Okay. But slew not a man, save carried them with them, and went their ways. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burnt with fire, and their wives, their sons, and their daughters were carried away. Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voices and wept until they could weep no more. And David's 2 wives were taken prisoners also, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And David was in a shrewd cumbrance. For the people intended to stone him, because the hearts of all the people were vexed for their sons and their daughters. But David took a good courage to him in the Lord his God, and said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, I pray thee, bring me the ephod. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David, and David asked counsel at the Lord, saying, Shall I follow after this company, and shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Follow, for thou shalt overtake them, and recover the prey. So David and the 600 men that were with him went and came to the river Bezor, where a part of them abode. But David and 400 men followed, for 200 abode behind, being too weary to go over the river Bezor. And they found an Egyptian in the field, and brought him to David, and gave him bread to eat and water to drink, and gave him a few figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him, for he had eaten no bread nor drunk any water in 3 days and 3 nights. And David said unto him, To whom belongest thou, and whence art thou? He said, I am a young man of Egypt, and servant to an Amalekite, and my master left me behind, because it is 3 days agone that I fell sick. We came a roving upon the south of Cretas, and against Judah, and toward the south of Caleb. And we burnt Ziklag with fire. And David said to him, Canst thou bring me to this company? And he said, Swear unto me by God, that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring thee to the company. And when he had brought him thither, behold, they lay scattered abroad upon the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of the plenteous and great prey that they had carried away out of the land of the Philistines, and out of the land of Judah. And David laid upon them from the evening until the twilight on the morrow, so that there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men, which rode away upon camels and fled. And David recovered. And that's the same number of people as David has. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives, so that there was no person of them lacking, small or great, son or daughter, or of the spoil of all that they had taken away. David recovered them all again. And David took all the sheep and the oxen, and they drove them before his cattle, and said, This is David's prey. And David came to the 200 men that were too weary for to follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the river Bezor. And they came to meet David and the people that were with him. And when David came to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked and the unthrifts. Yeah, the wicked men and the unthrift men. The unthrifts of the men that went with David. Okay, that's a cool noun. And said, Because they went not with us, therefore will we give them none of the prey that we have recovered, but let every man take his wife and his children. Those let them carry away, and be walking. Let them be walking. Then said David, Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which the Lord hath given us, and hath preserved us. With that which the Lord hath given us, and hath preserved us, and delivered the company that came against us into our hands. For who should hearken unto you in this matter? But as his part is that goeth down and fighteth, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff, that it may be parted alike. And so from that day forward was that made a statute and a law in Israel unto this day. When David therefore came to Ziklag, he sent gifts of the prey unto the elders of Judah, and to his friends, saying, See, there is a blessing for you of the spoil of the enemies of the Lord. He sent to them of Bethel, to them of South Ramoth, to them of Jathir, to them of Aror, to them of Sephamoth, to them of Eshtemoa, to them of Rathel, to them of the city of Jerahmeel, to them of the cities of the Kenites, to them of Hormah, to them of Borasan, to them of Athak, to them that are in Hebron, and to all places where David and his men were wont to haunt. Hey, that's still in there. 31. The Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled away from the Philistines and fell down wounded in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines pressed sore upon Saul and his son, and slew Jonathan's and Abinadab and Malchishua, Saul's sons. And when the battle went sore against Saul, the archers with bows found him, and he was sore afraid of the archers. Then said Saul unto his harness-bearer, Draw out thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest the uncircumcised come and thrust me through, and make a mocking stock of me. But his harness bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. And Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his harness bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword, and died with him. And so Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his harness bearer, and all his men, that same day together. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they of the other side Jordan, heard that the men of Israel were put to flight, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they left the cities and ran away, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. On the morrow, when the Philistines were come to spoil them that were slain, they found Saul and his 3 sons lying in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head, and stripped him out of his harness, and sent into the land of the Philistines on every side, that they should publish it in the temple of their idols, and among the people. And they laid up his harness in the house of Ashtaroth, and they hanged up his body on the wall of Bethshan. When the inhabitants of Jabesh in Gilead heard thereof, what the Philistines had done to Saul, they arose, as many as were strong men, and went all night, and took the body of Saul, and the bodies of his sons, from the wall of Bethshan, and came to Jabesh, and burnt them there, and took their bones, and buried them under a tree at Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. The end of the first book of Samuel, which is also called the first book of Kings. Okay, there we have it. So that was the reading session for the day. I'll continue next time with the second book of Samuel, which is also called the second book of Kings. But that's it for me tonight. Thank you all for watching, for tuning in, even if it was just for a couple minutes here or there. It's all good. Or if you only watch the VOD, appreciate that too. I'm putting these on YouTube. I'm not actually highlighting them here on Twitch because of the the storage limit, but they'll be on YouTube. So I appreciate y'all. I love you. God bless you, and take care, friends.